Hello and welcome to Kettle Messages Tarot. I'm your reader, the Gemstar, and this is the weekly tea. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, for subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. For your own personal private readings with the Gemstar, visit our website at kettlemessagestarot.my.canva.site in the description box below. Now, let's have a sip of the weekly tea together. Welcome once again, Leos, to Kettle Messages Tarot. I'm your oracle and reader, the Gemstar, and I'm here to spill the weekly tea for the lion and lionesses, kings and queens of the jungle. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, for liking, subscribing, and commenting. We appreciate the support you show us. Let's see what is going on this week for my lion and lionesses. What messages we have for Leos this week? Page of Cups, Knight of Swords, somebody coming in strong with a message. Someone is communicating an emotional message this week, leading to the Four of Swords, to a new beginning with the Fool, the Four of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Three of Swords. Okay. There's a conversation going down this week that's not going to end well. There's going to be a separation at the end, by the end of the week, Leos, with someone here, as there's going to be a confrontation or words had. People are not in agreement this week, are not accepting certain terms, and this is leading people to go to their separate camps. This is leading people to separate this week. There can be an argument, a confrontation this week that winds up in a separation. Let's see what oracle you receive. Slow but steady. Slow but steady. Yeah, with this Knight of Swords, someone reacts quickly to something said or something offered, and it ends in the Three of Swords, in a separation. So let's dive into this tea and let's see what is going on here for my Leos. There may be an energy this week of emotional openness, meeting with sudden movement, and then followed by a pause. You can begin this week, Leo, with sensitivity, intuition, and emotional curiosity. You can start off the week here with soft energy, a message, a feeling, a spark, a vulnerability, something that is touching your heart at the beginning of the week. But by the middle of the week, Leos, something happens impulsively, or something moves too quickly, or someone comes off very direct. I'm feeling this energy this week of, at first, somebody coming off sensitive, somebody coming off intuitive, even emotionally curious about you, willing to talk to you, have a conversation with you this week. It sparks some type of vulnerability. Something this person says to you at the beginning of the week touches your heart. So by the middle of the week, maybe this person takes certain type of liberties or cross certain type of boundaries, because now they're having a direct conversation with you or acting impulsively, and this changes the dynamic of the situation dramatically. There's a conversation this week, Leos, a realization or a decision that is going to come quickly, and it's going to cut through the softness. So somebody this week may be rushing in, maybe coming to you with a certain truth. Somebody may come off with a sharp tone, and your own mind could be racing ahead this week, like, why this person is rushing in, why this person is saying what they're saying, why the tone of this person has changed from soft to direct and in my face. So for some Leos, after that intensity, after that intense confrontation or conversation that occurs by the middle of the week, you're going to feel like you're going to need to withdraw from the situation, withdraw from this person. You're going to need your space. You're going to need your quiet. I feel like at the beginning of the week, you're starting off with nice conversations, but by the middle of the week, somebody is bombarding you and you just want them to go away and shut up for some Leos. Or there could be someone coming off nicely at the beginning of the week, and then by the middle of the week, coming off aggressive and intense. And here's where you're going to put your boundaries. Here's where you're going to need your space. You're going to need your quiet. And you may even need to rest, take a break, um, to allow yourself to catch up with the situation, because something is um, happening very fast this week. Somebody opens up with tender emotions and then subtly shifts on Leos. And you're going to find yourselves retreating in the process. Like, wait a minute. You're going to have to avoid this person by the end of the week and take time to recover about what has just transpired. So this week starts off with someone coming in nice and smooth and very loving, and then it intensifies, it becomes too much, and by the end of the week you're finding yourselves retreating from this person because now you're starting to see something you do not like. There's also, for some Leos this week, a new beginning that is calling you to take a leap of faith, a fresh start. Something in your life wants to reset, but it requires you to trust. You may be exiting a toxic friendship or a toxic relationship and starting over, taking a leap of faith to move forward, away from conflict, away from this person, away from this situation. Others of you are just needing a reset in your life, a change of scenery, a change of environment, especially if you with people who are constantly switching up on you, if you are dealing with people who are two-faced. One minute they're nice, the next minute they're cutting, they're shady. You may be wanting to get away from these people, get away from this type of environment this week because you just want peace and quiet, Leos. There's conflict and tension in a situation this week due to miscommunication, egos clashing, someone wanting to win an argument this week, and a situation where nobody is going to feel good. Yes, it seems like something starts off nicely, a conversation starts off nicely, and then by the middle of the week, things start getting ugly. People start crossing boundaries or disrespecting, and then there needs to be a shutdown. Or there's a situation in your life, Leo, that started off well and dandy, but now has become toxic. It's showing itself to be toxic, and you are going to take a leap of faith away from this toxic environment or this toxic person or people that you're dealing with this week because it's not satisfying you. It's not satisfying you. You don't want to be dealing with cutthroat people, people who want to win at all costs, people who are playing dirty, people who are playing nasty Leos, people who are being two-faced. They 1 minute they friendly and the next minute they're your enemy. Oof. There's an emotional impact occurring this week ahead for Leos, a disappointment, a heartbreak, or an old wound being reopened by someone. This is not to punish you, but this is for you to get clarity, for you to see a situation or a person for exactly as they are. Maybe you've been giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you have been making excuses for somebody's behavior or attitude or switch up, but now something is becoming real clear to you that it's not friendly, it's not welcoming, it's messing with your mind, or it's trying to play games. Someone here is trying to mess with you or play games with you. 1 minute they friendly, the next minute they're attacking you. 1 minute they're chit-chatting with you, and then the next minute they're using what you say against you to get you into trouble, into problems. And this is not satisfying you. This is not to your liking. This is very toxic. And some of you are willing just to make a fresh start possible for yourselves and to move on. Even though, there's an unsolved conflict or painful truth that needs to be acknowledged first before you can move on. It seems like for some of you Leos, you have to come to terms with the fact, the truth, the realization that someone is either emotionally imbalanced or bipolar or is just not your friend. All right, they constantly switching up on you. They trying to sabotage you, backstab you, win at all costs. They come off as nice and friendly, but they're not. They're not nice and friendly. When they have conversations with you, it's just for them to gather information so they can use against you, or someone has deceived you, uh, used your trust in them against you. And this is a week where you're going to get emotionally honest. You're going to get emotionally honest this week. This is going to be a week for Leos to have an emotional awakening, a sudden clarity, confronting a wound that needs to be released before you can move forward. You have to begin with openness because this is going to move quickly. There's a fast shift occurring. So you begin with openness, get hit with a fast shift this week, leading you to retreat to regain balance and then face the deeper emotional pattern that has been holding you back. Something that has been wearing a mask, that has been disguised, is going to have the mask rip off their face this week. This is a breakthrough, but there's going to be discomfort as you find out some truths this week. Someone is coming in, reconciling, offering and extending an olive branch. And then once you think that everything's okay and you let your guard down, this person turns around and stabs you in the back. Or you're feeling this type of dynamic in work, business, and career where you can't trust the people you're working with because they sabotage you, they backstab you, they set you up for failure, they're toxic. And so you rather escape a dissatisfying situation. But there's going to be arguments and conflicts even on the way out. Even on the way out, Leos. Let's get into this message of slow but steady, your oracle message for this week ahead. Leos, don't rush the situation this week. Yes, because it looks like a conversation that's rushed really blows up and ends up the in miscommunication and in separation this week. So don't rush situations this week. More often than not, divine timing and our timing are not the same. When you try to speed up a life experience, a relationship, or even a project, you can circumvent necessary experiences or lessons along the way that will contribute to the perfect outcome. Know that wherever you are in this situation, it's the perfect place for you to be. In this If this place is causing you anxiety, perfect. Now you can look within and ask yourself why. Why is this person triggering you? What is this person saying or doing this week that is triggering you? To rush into a response or to rush into retreat? That's a good question for you to ask yourselves this week, Leo, especially with this tea where someone is making an offer here and it's like wolf in sheep's clothing. What are your fears surrounding this situation? What are you perceiving as a delay? What is the worst that can happen? What is the best that can happen? What if you remove the words best and worst and just let things unfold at their own pace without attaching judgment? So you're going to remove from yourself from this situation this week without judging this person too harshly. You know best that in this situation, it's best for you not to get involved or associated with this person any further or any longer, as they are already showing you who they are. And this may have occurred several times, Leos, where you may have given someone the benefit of the doubt, gave someone a pass, made excuses. Maybe they weren't having a good day that day when you approached them. But this seems to be a repeated offender, a repeated pattern that someone has, that they your friend 1 minute, your enemy the next, they're friendly 1 minute, they're attacking you the next, and then they're saying they're sorry and they come back and you allow them back. But this is a week where it seems like you're going to be shutting it down and going in a new direction. That has been your weekly tea. May you have a blessed week ahead. Ciao. It's your Rita the Gemstar. Thank you so much for stopping by, sipping some weekly tea with us. Support your content creators. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And to receive your own personal private reading, book it at our website, kettlemessagestarot.my.canva.site, in the description box below. May you have a blessed week ahead. Ciao.